with another podcast. I am so excited. Um because we are back with another podcast ready to make sure that we're living with a little less chaos. That we're going to start this week off with a little less chaos. Okay. So listen, y'all, I am very excited for today because we've been going down this road. We've been or walking up these stairs, I should say, of the stairwell of intentional living because these are the basic steps, the basic ways to begin our intentional life, right? So today we're actually going to be hitting up that third step, which is executing by process. We're going to be talking a little bit about routines and goals. Now, I'm not going to go real deep into it, but that is the thing about executing by process. We have to execute something to be able to close the gap between where we want to go and where we are, right? So look, I'm getting excited, I'm getting myself ahead of the game, but let's get into it. Of course, every single Monday, we are here ready to start our week and to set up our weekly review, right? So what are we doing today? We're looking back. And we're going to look at the good things. What's some good stuff that happened the week before? I want you to think about that. I want you to take a moment to think about it as I tell you about my good things. And then we're going to talk about what's on the docket. What is up next in this week? What do you have to get done this week to make sure that you're living your life intentionally? Then we are going to break down that awesome intentional topic. And today we're talking about how goals and routines kill chaos, how we can execute by process. And then finally, we close out with prayer and that good old outro. All right. So anyway, guys, I am super excited for today because I'm probably a little bit also sleepy. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Let me tell y'all something before we get into the good things. Let me tell y'all. Well, actually, no. Let's get into the good things because my sleepiness is part of why I we have a good thing this week. So listen. Your girl is a little sleepy because child. The good thing is my cousin came up for the weekend from Barbados to get honored at some really awesome awards. She got honored at this Caribbean Women of Honor program. I probably should have wrote down the title, but it was a beautiful program. I got to be her escort, and also she did a little performance and everything like that. I might throw in I might put together a whole little reel of the weekend. But that was the really good thing for me this weekend. I got to one, see my cousin because that's my girl. And then two, I got to be a part of celebrating her and also celebrating some awesome women in the DMV area. Like they had some really cool women. They also honored, get this, they honored Michelle Montano's mother. Like I got to meet her. So it was really cool. But yeah, there was just so much really good stuff. And she left this morning. So as you know, I record this at 7 a.m. on Mondays live. And she left already. Yes, y'all. She left at 6 a.m. So that meant I had to wake up and take her to the airport at 3. Thankfully, I was able to come back home and take a little nap before getting ready. But yeah, that's why I'm sleepy. So it's a good reason why I'm sleepy, but I'm still sleepy, y'all. Pray my strength, okay? But yeah, no, it was a really amazing time to just celebrate women, celebrate my cousin, just celebrate all the cool doctors. They had some government officials there. They had our governor's mother, she got honored. Like it was just a really great time, and it is just such an honor to be around so many amazing women and just to celebrate the power of the Black woman, the power of the Caribbean, African women. It was a good time. It was a good time, y'all. It was. So what are some good things that you happened to you this past week? Remember, the whole point to celebrating the good is so that you have the heart and the excitement and the resiliency to be able to plan and to go right on back to the grind of the week, because it can be a grind. Even when you're intentional with your time, intentional with everything that you're doing, it can be tiring, right? So it's so important to fill our hearts with things that are good, so that one, we know that not everything is horrible. But then also two, that we are strong enough and know that we have the right mindset to move forward in this week. Okay? So, make sure you're thinking about the good things. And tell me below. Tell me. All right? Okay. Now, the next thing that we're going to be talking about is what's on the docket. Okay. So, the whole point to talking about what's on the docket is because that's part of a weekly review. You have to know what you're doing so that you can make sure that you're intentional with it. So make sure that you're thinking about what's on the docket this week. Do you have any doctor's appointments? Do you have anything new that you're doing that is outside of the norm of your dream week? Now, the dream week, I've talked about this before, and I'm actually going to talk about it in detail in next season because next season is coming. But the dream week is literally just laying out what your best week ever would be. What would your week look like if you did everything that you were supposed to do, that you made progress on your goals, that you did all the important things in your life, right? So, and then the point to a weekly review and looking at what's on the docket is to see, well, what needs to change to make sure that one, you don't go crazy, and that two, you still get to move forward with your dreams, even if you have a lot of appointments. So, what's on the docket for you? For me, my docket is getting ready to vacate. Okay. Vacation. I am so excited because this week, the second half of this week, I'm going to be on an island somewhere. Okay. It's gonna be a quick trip, but it's gonna be a good trip. And so my goal for this week, I only have 2 days here in the States for this weekend. So I have a project that needs to get completed. So we're gonna make sure that gets done. And then I don't really have any other appointments other than to make sure that I got all my stuff packed. Okay. And I got it for the most part. I got it packed up for the most part because get this. The reason why I'm packed so early is because I was able to plan ahead. I knew that my cousin was coming this weekend, so I was not going to have the weekend to do it. I knew that I was going to have to be moving her around and doing all type of stuff. I knew that I was going to have different things to do throughout the week. So, I made sure that I set aside time to pack. Now, see, that's the type of thing that you're doing as you're living intentionally, you know? So, really think about that. What's on the docket for you? What do you need to do? Me, I need to get ready to vacate. I'm so excited. Y'all don't even know. Let me tell you one other thing. God, when you are a child of God and you are following after him and you're listening to his voice and all that kind of stuff and all those things, he is so strategic in caring for you. Like I had planned this vacation. Well, actually, I didn't plan this vacation. My friend planned this vacation. It's her birthday trip and she got us going everywhere. Anyway, we planned this trip months ago, and who could have told me that all of this craziness was going to happen, right? And it's as if the Lord was like, hey, girl, I know you're going to need this rest at this moment. You're not going to know why you need it, but I'm going to plop it right here just for you, right? Because it's actually at the end of the quarter, too. We're almost at the end of the quarter, and we're about to do some big things. We're about to do our quarterly reset. And one thing that I try to make sure that I do every quarter is take a little extended rest. And the Lord literally put that, He said, here you go. Here's the trip. This is what you're going to need. This is what you're going to need for the time being. So let me tell you, follow after God. That's also part of your intentional living. Okay. All right. Anyway, I could go down a whole just litany of things of how good God is and how he plans for you without you even planning, without you even realizing. Okay. But we got to get up out of here. We got to hit our 20-minute mark. So let's get into the intentional topic of the week. Goals and routines kill chaos. They kill chaos by executing on process, by executing and making sure that you actually get your goals, your desires, those values, those life principles that you wrote down. This is how you execute them. This is how you see yourself win in all of these areas. You execute by process. So, with a good routine and a specific goal, you truly can kill the chaos that's happening in your life because you know that you got some things that you're moving forward to. Your routines help you to not be feeling a total crazy basket case every single day because you have something that grounds you. Your goals are the things that are moving where you want to go to where you are to where you want to go. That's what your goals and your routines are meant to do. And that's how they kill chaos. And we've been talking about this still process, right? The first one is to dream, to acknowledge the fact that you have a dream, to acknowledge the fact that those dreams are worth dreaming, right? Then the next thing is to live by principle. We talked about that last week, how your life principles in those six key areas of your relationship with God, your body, your mind, your family, friends, and finances. When you have those key relationships and you're cultivating them with your life principles, figuring out where you are in each one of them, figuring out where you want to go in each one of them, then you begin to shape out that intentional life, right? And then the next step is to actually execute it. Execute by process. And those processes are the routines and goals that close the gap between where you are and where you want to go. Okay. So let me tell you. So I actually went and looked up the word process kind of to make sure it's clear. But a process is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. And being intentional in your life is doing exactly that. Having those intentional series of actions, routines, steps, your goals to get you to a particular end in your life. And your particular end is that life principle. If you remember, I had read out the one that I had for my relationship with God, right? I should have pulled this up, but it was actually I could scroll it up real quick. Right. Mine was that I want to reflect my purpose statement was to reflect the grace, joy, provision, and hope of Christ through my relationship with him. Right. And my dream was that my knowledge of his words surpasses many and is used to bring people closer to a relationship with him, the one who provides for me, right? That I'm sensitive to his presence, that I hear his instructions clearly and obey him immediately, right? That is where I want to be, right? Well, where I am is, I'm growing. I can hear God for the most part. I can hear him usually, not perfect, but I can hear him, right? And now with my goals and my routines, I'm taking those moments in that time to close that gap between them, right? So how do you even take your goals and your routines and maximize them for that intentional life? Maximize them to execute that process and actually close the gap between where you want to go and where you are, right? How you do that? You do three things. One, you tie them to the principles, the values that you had. So I talked to you a little bit already about my own life principle for my relationship with God, right? I want to be sensitive to his voice. I want to hear him and I want to follow his instructions, right? I want to be able to be a light and a reflection of his goodness, right? These are the things that I want, right? Well, now that I know what they are, now my goals and my routines have to tie to them. When you tie your goals and your routines to them, one, it makes it easier to continue down the road of these goals to actually execute on the process because there's a purpose behind them, right? But then two, it gives you step by step ways to move closer to it. So for instance, my routine, I talk about this, but my routine includes me praying every morning, right? My routine includes at night reflecting on something good that God has done every single day, right? It includes praying. It includes listening or reading my Bible, right? I do that daily. My goals, I have goals on like memorizing scripture or reading a book focused on God, right? Like all of these different things are things that I've done to actually one, tie them to my life goals and principles, but also execute on closing that gap in that particular life principle. So that's number one, tie them to your principles, tie them to your values. Number two, make it specific and actually make them smarter. You should make your goals smarter. Now you've heard of smart goals, right? But I actually learned a while back from this awesome productivity guy, and he talks about making your goals smarter. And that is making them specific, measurable, actionable. So it's action. Risky, so they scare you a little bit. Time bound, there's a beginning and the end. Exciting, you actually are excited to do it. And then relevant and actually relatable to the life that you live right now, right? Actually paying attention to what's going on around you and building a goal that makes sense for who you are in this moment, right? So for instance, your goal, you say that you want to, I don't know, buy a house in the next 6 months, but you are neck deep in debt. You have student loans, you got all this other stuff going on, right? More than likely, getting a house in 6 months is not the ideal goal for this moment. It's not relevant for you in this moment. So maybe the goal is to, I don't know, get out of debt or lower your debt to a certain amount. Something like that. Maybe it's to build an emergency fund, build your, the things that you need to do to make it happen, right? That is how you can make sure that it's relevant. So the next thing is to make it specific or make them smarter. Okay. And then the final thing is to actually check in on it. Actually check in on it. And I think that's the key part to it. We do all these cool things, right? We make these amazing goals, we make these amazing routines, but we never go back and evaluate if they're actually working for us, right? That's the whole point to being intentional with your life, that you are constantly reviewing, thinking about, and I want to say constantly, that you set times in your life to review, because constantly reviewing almost brings makes me feel like it's like an anxious thing that you're doing, that you're always anxiously looking at your things. No, that's not what you're doing. With an intentional life, you intentionally build time to review your goals, you intentionally build time to review your week, hence the podcast. Huh? You spend time making sure that these goals, these routines still work for the life that you're living right now. So check in on it. I talk about a process of being rare, right? Where we review regularly. We of course I can't remember it now because I'm like blanking, but but we review regularly. We take some time to make it I can't even think about it right now. I shouldn't have brought that up because that wasn't what I was going to talk about. But I love being rare. I love taking a moment to review and to do all of those things that we need to do in our lives, right? Oh, there it is. Activate, reward, and examine. Wow. See, this is why you're supposed to plan and make sure that you don't think of things off the top of your head sometimes, because that in and of itself makes you nervous and you forget key things that you do. So anyway, yes, you be rare, because it is a rarity that you find somebody that actually is paying attention to their life. It really is. So be rare, review, activate, reward, and examine. Examine what you got going on. Okay. So those are the three things that you can do to make sure that you are killing chaos with your goals and your routines. You tie them to your principles, your values. You make them specific, make them smarter, and then you check in on it. You check on it regularly. Okay. And I'm really excited because we're about to begin we're at the end of a quarter and we're about to begin the reset, something that I do every single quarter to reset, to recalibrate, right, to look back and see, well, did I hit any of my goals this quarter, or was life crazy? And I can tell you this right now, I'm probably gonna be in the life was crazy bucket this reset uh, season, because woo, I have been, and actually, if you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, you see that I've been talking about adjusting to a change and adjusting to what's going on here in the United States. But every quarter we do something called the reset, and I'm really, really excited about it. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about it, join the email list or check out the links below because I talk about it down there. And we're gonna have some fun. I'm still trying to put it all together, but we're gonna have some fun at the end of the quarter where we are breaking down the reset together. If you check it out in below, and really just make sure that we're resetting and paying attention to our lives together. All right. So that is it for me today, guys. We are about to hit up the Dream Boost prayer for the week, and I am so excited. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Mm, thank you, Lord. Lord, help us to distill down the most important parts of our values into goals and routines we can execute easily. Help us to kill chaos by executing well. All right, y'all. Well, we are out of here. Have an awesome, awesome week. I'm going to hurry up and go on and get out the door to get to work. See y'all next week.